Good evening and a warm welcome to MUSC Red Devils NCR. And what a difference one game week makes for the body language of us as fans. The first 2 weeks were absolute disasters, dark clouds gathering all around in and around Old Trafford. And when the arch rivals come in, you just fear for the worst. But then out of nowhere, we produced one of the best performances of our season, and we finally get one over our arch rivals. Our first win over Liverpool since the 2017-18 season. We have a few new faces today. A warm welcome to Karthik, Hadi, Kushagra, Mojo sir, and Sandeep. So let's just start about let's just start. We started off before the game. There was a huge protest which walked on from towards Old Trafford. It was expected around 10,000 people were reported to be present in the protest, which was a peaceful protest, thankfully. Considering the fact that we've had much more violent protests compared to this. So, what were your thoughts? Mojo sir, I put the floor on to you. What were your thoughts about that protest? And what do you think, how much of an impact did it have on the overall situation of the club and the owners?
Look, we've had these protests a number of times. The only difference this time was that it was being called for quite a while. I guess 1958 and along with a few other people were at it and asking for a good protest to be done. So yeah, 10,000 people turning up, as was reported, was good enough. It was peaceful. That was nice, because there were ramblings going around that should there be any violence, the match might get cancelled and the 3 points might go Liverpool's way. So no, on the other side of the matter, it was important that the protest happened in the way it happened. It's about time that the Glazers leave. I don't think they're going to get a better opportunity to realize whatever profits or whatever money they want to make through us as a bulk, so to speak, that you do a massive one-time deal and you get out of Manchester United. I don't think they're going to get a better time than this. But then, I guess, my only worry and my only fear is that Casemiro signing, along with yesterday's result, might just act as a watershed towards the pressure that the Glazers are in currently. But yes, they're going to definitely try and fight their way out of it, in the sense that they've got the Casemiro signing, Anthony, Gapco, I don't know whether Frankie de Jong happens or not, and then they'll chuck one or two more signings, backup goalkeeper and a right back. Let's see what happens in the remaining part of 9 to 10 days now. So no, the protest was important, very much required, because let's be honest, had the protest talk not picked up, not become extremely serious, had the talks of the takeovers not happened, do we really think Casemiro would be here for 60 million?
Yep.
I mean, we were signing Rabiot for 12 million or 18 million. Thanks. I mean, Bhagwan uski mata ji ko khub lambi umr de ki she was being greedy enough and not letting him sign. Otherwise, we were in a mess. We were talking Arnautovic and Rabiot for Christ's sake. So all in all, I say, yeah, the protest helped. The takeover talks got the Glazers shitting in the pants. That led to Casemiro coming. Overpaid, definitely, for a 30-year-old. But then if he has 2 or 3 good seasons in him, I guess the 60 million will be very well recouped. But yes, we need more signings. We need these protests to continue. And let's just not get the Liverpool game. However much it was satisfying, it was seriously satisfying. It was, I mean, one of those moments, the 1992 Sheffield Wednesday kind of a moment, that you actually turned the corner. That was for something that we were challenging for. This is something we are challenging for, in the sense that we want to bounce back as a club. So it was, I would put it on an equal platter to that, for very different reasons. But I just hope this Glazer out pressure doesn't ease off, because we've just won a game against Liverpool. Let's be honest, we're still in the bottom half of the table. Um, I just hope they can get us more signings, albeit desperately. I think Anthony, if he comes in, will be good. I think as much as I am a David De Gea supporter, I do believe that we need a capable enough competition for him. Aaron Van Bissaka, I don't know what's going to happen, so we need a right back. So let's keep the pressure on the Glazers, protest, or in which way, they need to give us 3 to 4 more signings. So yeah, protests were very welcome, and peaceful, that was even helpful.
Fair enough, Mursa. Those are quite a few enlightening points that you put forward regarding the situation the club currently is in. I'll go to Kushagra, and Kushagra, I would take your thoughts on the protest and what exactly do you feel was the impact of this protest?
Yeah, so I think the protests were like definitely something that the club was, expecting from a long time, because it was kind of like building up, because in like the summer window, we haven't really done like that much of like a good like deeds. We wasted about 2 months after a player who like has no interest in like coming to the club, and then we got a world class player in just about a week. So that tells you a lot, that if you like really want to get like these high type of like high quality players, they are available. But then the whole thing is like with the board. So obviously like the protests were like definitely something that we as fans also that we had that I think it was something that was really like needed. But I'm not sure how many like more signings we can do in like the remaining week. I'm not like that hopeful. But yeah, as said earlier, it would be like really nice if we are able to add like 2 or 3 more players to this team.
Fair enough. Hadi, we knew that the protest was happening on the outside, but at the same time, we had a full stadium with quite a lot of mixed emotions in it. So while Casemiro came in, yes, there were a lot of cheers for the player itself, but those cheers were immediately followed by chants of the fans wanting Glazers out. So while there was a protest happening outside the stadium as well, there was equal discontent towards the owners by the fans inside the stadium. So what exactly do you make of it?
Yeah, so I think originally the plan was to not show up at Old Trafford at all, to be outside at least for quite a few minutes. But see, the game at this level, at this big game that we have right now of Liverpool and the history we have with them, I think it doesn't allow us to be outside, even whatever the situation is. Coming to the protest, yes, Mojo sir has said it well enough. The protest was coming, and it was very necessary. And yeah, it will definitely going to add towards our narrative of getting the Glazers out. Because if you look back a couple of years ago, we thought that getting Ed Woodward out of the club was next to impossible. And yes, he is out of the club right now, and we are looking in a much better shape. However, there was this weight of the Super League attached to him, but I still think that getting Ed Woodward out was a big achievement towards this process. And since he has left, we have done really good deals in the transfer market. Some of them very reasonable also. And we have avoided overpaying for players by signing them late and by hijacking deals, sort of. Coming back to Casemiro, he is a brilliant signing for whatever fee that he is coming for. At the moment, he is arguably the best DMF in the world. And perhaps we needed someone like Casemiro. And for many seasons, I used to compare Real's midfield to ours, how we can make this sort of a balance in our midfield with somebody like Casemiro in it, somebody who is a destroyer, who breaks play. And we had Fred in that position, we had McTominay in that position, but they were not just good enough. And Fred is, yeah, I mean, he's not Casemiro, and his physicality, his body, his height, I think that's all that matters in that position to break the play and to be much more physical. And yeah, I think, but yeah, so getting in Casemiro, I don't think that it solves our problems, because it is much more deep rooted than that, especially in our football structure. Like we've seen clubs with a much more systematic structure, or we didn't have a technical director of football. for many years, and we were operating just on the orders of Ed Woodward basically. And we have seen, and this is what is happening at some other clubs also, like Spurs, what Levy is doing there, and we got to know it through the documentary that was made. But yeah, Casemiro is a really good signing, and I'm looking forward to getting more players, 3 or 4 more additions in the squad, and yeah, it's looking promising. But so was last season with Ronaldo and Sancho and Varane. But we know what happened last season. So let's see. It's a long way to go, and the Glazers definitely have to be thrown out of the club.
Fair enough, Hadi. Some really good points there. Sandeep, your thoughts about the protest?
So the first thing that was trending in Twitter, that empty Old Trafford, that wasn't going to happen anyway. Some people are coming in from all over the world to they have saved up their whole life, and they're going in for a rivalry, the oldest rivalry in English football, the biggest rivalry in English football, should I say. They're going to watch that. You cannot tell people to empty Old Trafford just like that. But yes, the protests that happened, those were necessary, and those were carried out by the fans of United in the best possible way. So it was peaceful. They sent the message right through the spine of the Glazers, and they tried to calm it down. Like, Glazers also played it well, introducing Casemiro in the stands today in front of the fans. So they played it well, but we must not forget the message that Glazers should be, thrown out of the club after having sucked all the money from us all these years, keeping us in debt and not repaying that debt. So, talking about the state of the team, Adi said that the Woodward has left, but you can see how fast we can do a deal, how fast we can complete a deal in the magnitude of Casemiro. So it's just about Glazers loosening the purse strings. The money is there, but they are not loosening the purse strings. Arnold and Murtaugh have got that deal over the line within 1 week to mellow the protest. As soon as Sir Jim Ratcliffe came in and made his intent show that he is ready to buy the club if it is up for sale, they shat their pants. I'm sorry to say that, but the Glazers simply were rocked. The whole world got rocked. So you have to be, now that there is a viable buyer, we should all get behind him. Sir Michael Knight, Michael Knighton, came out and said his motto was to smoke out Sir Jim Ratcliffe, into, giving his intent of buying. So that all these things, played very well. And the best part is, from Rabiot and Arnautovic, now we are talking about 160 million deal for Casemiro and Anthony. And on top of that, we are still in for FDJ. So, if Frankie de Jong come in, we are going from Mefred to, de Jong and Casemiro in the midfield. So that is one of the biggest upgrades. So what I would like to say is, let the Glazers spend their, war chest. Let them spend 300 million in the last few weeks, and let also get them out in the coming year or 2 years, however long it takes. But we should not give the Glazers out campaign. We should not give that up.
Fair. Strong words, strong points, strong sentiments, Sandeep. Karthik, give us your quick thoughts about the protest.
Yeah, I'll keep it really short. I'll be very honest. I was not. There were two things, obviously. One was obviously showing up in huge numbers for protest, which I completely, I saw it, and we all saw it, and there was a rally behind it. We all rallied behind it. Psychologically, physically, it was obviously there. And there was this 70th minute walkout, because it was symbolic of 17 years of Glazers being here. There was a 17-minute walkout plan, but 16th minute, Sancho ne goal maar diya, and things, just changed. And everyone just stayed and, enjoyed the game. I don't blame them for this, but I felt the protest should have, continued the way they were planned, and we should have shown some more heart, some more rigidity towards, not, getting swayed away. The second thing I want to mention very quickly is that I was very disappointed with the coverage of the protest. I didn't like the way Sky reported about the protest, or even the local, reporters reported about or talked about the protest. It was completely sort of tried to, mellow down. And then obviously there was this whole big game, big, one of the biggest game of the years. And it got, wiped under the carpet because of the way things started panning out. So yeah, it was a 50-50 for me with the protest. And obviously Casemiro, just like symbolic of Varane, he got introduced the way Varane got introduced, and I'm sure Casemiro was happy to see. Yes, exactly. And I really liked the way Casemiro enjoyed the night. I'm sure he enjoyed the win as well. He needed that. He needed that belief that he made the right decision. And I think for that reason, it was a very great symbolic win. Over to you.
Fair enough, Karthik. Some really good points which you shed light upon. Now, from the field, we come on to what is important on the field, what happened on the field. So after the disappointment against Brentford, we wanted a response from the side. The coach himself pointed out the fact that he wanted to see aggression and he wanted to see a response. And let's be honest, we got that response. While we were not expecting that sort of response, what we've seen from the first moment on the pitch were 11 individuals who were determined to prove a point. They were determined to show the manager that they are bought into his methods. They were determined to prove the fans that they still have the passion and the integrity to play for the badge. And in the 90 minutes was nothing short of 11 people giving it their absolute all on the pitch. The manager did make some bold choices. He left Ronaldo and Maguire on the bench. He brought in Malacia for his first start in the Premier League. He played all three new signings. He played Eriksen, he played Lisandro Martinez at centre back with Varane, and he played Malacia at left back. So I'll not waste a lot of time. I'll just go to it. Kushagra, what did you make of the performance, and what did you make of the team changes, and what was your thoughts about the game?
Oh man, I think it was one of the sweetest games that we have seen in like the recent times. I think we've like the last we like defeated them was I think in 2018 in the Premier League.
Right.
So after 4
Yes.
years, and then I was like hearing some stats that Jordan Henderson is undefeated in like 11 or like 12 games against us. So all of those stats just to like get that like the win in front of like the home fans. I'm not thinking about like the protest, that's like a different thing, but as like a fan, I like always want like the team to win. And of course the man of the match for me was the guy Lisandro Martinez. Everyone was like saying that the guy is so short, he's not like fit enough to be like a center back for a team like us, but he won more aerial duels than Virgil van Dijk. So that's a statement in it, like in itself. And yeah, man, like the overall game, it was so much more improved than what we saw against Brentford or against like Brighton. The team looked more compact. They ran 13 kilometers more than the pool side. So that just shows like the kind of like the work rate that Erik ten Hag has been doing like behind the scenes. And I don't want to like get carried away with the win, but I hope that like this is something on which we can like gain something and beat Southampton.
Fair enough. Morisa, the same fixture last season, both home and away, we were thrashed 9-0. The reaction and the fact that form was against us, the entire situation was against us, and we faced a team who were shaky themselves but possessed much more quality than us. But the performance that we showed was truly stupendous. So what did you think about the performance and everything that came up until this point, the things that led to this performance?
See, it was two versions of United. If you analyze the game very critically, the first 25-30 minutes, we didn't give Liverpool a sniff at the game. Very reminiscent of the first 30 minutes that we had versus Crystal Palace, if I could recall.
Yes,
when Ranić
Rannick's
took
first
over.
game.
Under
Yes,
Ranić
correct.
first time.
Yes,
So
yes.
there was a lot of energy there. There was a lot of energy here as well. The only difference was that the players had to respond um, to the best that they could, given the limitations we have within the squad and the quality of players. But they did. You can very much talk about Liverpool not having the players, their first choice players, that Jota was injured or whosoever was injured or red carded or whatever. But then you got to beat what's on the ground, what's in front of you. You got to beat the team that's in front of you. You can't possibly go and beat the team in the stand. So in that respect, we came out all guns firing, and we scored two very cracking goals. But if you look at it's still the Eric Ten Hag way, or any modern football way, like a City or a Liverpool when they are on their full strength, even Arsenal for the time being, the way they are playing, you need a squad that's at it for 90 minutes. From the 30th or the 31st minute in the first half, and our energy levels started sapping off. And that's where Liverpool started coming into the game again. It's not that all of a sudden Liverpool started playing well. It's just that our energy levels sapped. We could see the players getting a little tired. But then that was hitting home much more from the 76th minute onwards. I guess it's in the 82nd or 83rd minute when Erik ten Hag made those three changes, brought Ronaldo, Van de Beek, and Aaron Van Bissaka on. So still a lot of work to be done. A great win. And all I would say is that we needed this bounce. But then, somebody who's watched United for so many years, I would just say, let's just be a little bit more cautious than get driven and too excited about this result. It's a derby. It's on par with El Clasico, or probably more people watch this than El Clasico. El Clasico in its hype has gone down ever since Messi and Ronaldo have left from there. But Liverpool United are still a big ticket game. And in a derby, as usually happens, and it's a very old cliche, everybody says anything can happen. Form goes out of the window, passion comes in, which ground you're playing in and how the atmosphere is, that takes its toll on you. So Old Trafford was buzzing yesterday from the first whistle to the final one. It was a derby. We had to bounce back. The first 30 minutes in the first half and about 15-20 minutes in the second half, we were at the game. But the remaining 25-30 minutes that we couldn't manage properly is where the team now needs to improve.
Yeah, so cautious optimism is what we take away from this. Yes, reasons to be excited, reasons to look forward, but we need to keep our expectations under control. Like Mojo sir rightly said, being a fan for many years, you don't know what this club will throw at us. So, Hardik, let's talk about the goals. We talk about the first goal. That was some really ice cold composure from Sancho, putting James Milner up on his backside, sending Alisson to the shops, just making Virgil van Dijk like he was exposed to the head of Medusa. So what do you make of that?
Yeah, I have a lot to say on this actually. In fact, a couple of days ago, I was watching this video from Tifo IRL, and it was titled Ten Hag's Dilemma. And the concept behind that video was, will Ten Hag stick to his methods of possession-based football and what he preaches, or will he adapt to what this team used to play, that was counter-attacking football under Ole? And if you remember, we didn't press high up at that time. In fact, we did press, but our press started in the midfield. And the trigger for that usually came from Fed and McTominay. So coming to the goals, I would like to say that for this game at least, Ten Hag did make a decision, and he made the decision to go with what United was made for by Ole, and it was very Ole-esque. All goals and all chances were very Ole-esque. Quick counter attacks, one touch football and one pass football.
Great point.
And
that's a good point.
Yeah. And the score might not say it, but I think we absolutely battered Liverpool, and especially with the chances that we had. if 1 or 2 went in early on, then the score definitely would have been even 3 or 4-0 or 5-0 Manchester United, because the momentum would have been completely on our side. The his Elanga's miss was very unfortunate. I think it was not a bad finish. It was unfortunate to miss that, but yeah, Rashford's first chance was on him. He had to make a decision. He had to either pass the ball or go for it himself. The very first chance, if you remember.
Yeah,
And
the Van Dijk one, right?
The Van Dijk one. Yeah. So, and the second goal is completely Ole-esque. Rashford makes the run as soon as Martial gets the ball, and he's in space, and he takes on Alisson beautifully and very confidently. But yeah, I was very surprised by what Sancho did to show such composure at such high stakes game after the performance that we had, and to had so much pressure on him at that moment. He absorbed it beautifully, and he left Alisson, Van Dijk, and Milner on bed, literally. What he did with that move. And to that, I would like to add
he's not scoring. Because he's been not scoring. That was a huge score.
Yeah, he was not scoring as well. So to this, I would like to add that yes, we are talking about the attack right now, but since we didn't convert our chances, the hero of the game was actually our defense. And the main work happened at the defense once we scored our first goal and our second goal. We were put under a lot of pressure by our top side of Liverpool, Premier League champions, Champions League winners, and these were really capable of coming back in the game, even in the later stages. When they scored the first goal, I stopped. My breath was stopped, and I was really scared that they might get into the game and we might lose 2 points or even 3 points at that stage, because that's what Liverpool are capable of doing. But yeah, the credit to our defense entirely. Martinez, we haven't seen a performance from a centre back like that in quite some time, in a long time, in fact. And and what it came down to that game for our defense was individual brilliance. Even De Gea shopping some really tough shots to Martinez, to Varane, to Dalot, to being so instinctive in blocking those crosses and giving his all on the pitch, even Malacia. And it was a very nice coordinated defense, very composed defense. They completely challenged Liverpool that we are going to take you on, come at us, and we'll see what you can do. But I doubt this if we can keep this form and keep this level of defense for a long time, because Dalot, as good as he was last game, he has been shaky, and he has been not up to the par many times. But yeah, coming to this defense point, I am curious about what happens to Maguire. Is he dropped? Is he brought in? If he is dropped, how long for a time that he will be dropped? I personally think that he should be dropped, because I don't think he's a bad player. He's just low on confidence with whatever's happened with his life in the past. In his first season for us, actually, he made a great impact in his first season, and we were surprisingly one of the best defenses in the league at that time. And we were praising Maguire and Van Bissaka at that time. But then those confidence levels went low, and it all went downhill from there. But yeah, Varane and Martinez is my choice, at least for a couple of games. And yeah, coming to this same point, we have it is ironical quite, we have upfront with Ronaldo. In pre-season, we were cruising with our games and the fluid football that we were playing. Ronaldo was not there, and same thing happened last game. Ronaldo wasn't there, and we did a very nice performance. We set up a very nice performance. So I'm very curious to see how Ronaldo fits in. But yeah, he is Cristiano Ronaldo. After all, you cannot leave him on the bench. So there has to be some way to get him back.
Yes. So very well explained, Hadi, and all the points. Sandeep and Karthik, I would like to take your thoughts on this one particular question that I have. So after the first half, there was a change from the United end, but it was not the change that everyone was hoping. Everyone expected Cristiano Ronaldo to come out of the tunnel for the second half. But to everyone's surprise, it was Anthony Martial who emerged out. And yes, he did put a very good performance. So, like Ten Hag said, that we were light on a striker in the first two games, in spite of having Ronaldo, and Ronaldo did not have a preseason, keeping all that in mind. How much do you think Ten Hag's trust in Martial is going to get the best out of him this season? And what exactly do you make of Martial's dependence and Martial's importance to that forward line? Karthik, I'll put this forward to you.
Okay, I'll try to bring some context here, and I'll be very quick and to answer your question. This was like Hadi said that this was a very typical Ole team's performance. But I would even go back a little and say this was a typical Manchester United performance. This is a Manchester United that Saf would envision. This is a Manchester United that carried forward to Jose as well. Jose played amazing counter-attacking football with us in our first season, and then obviously Ole came back and gave us what he gave us. We have all seen it. It was very decent. What I saw here mostly was that everyone ran their socks off, and especially what I have to praise here was Rashford and Bruno. Bruno was given the captaincy armband, and Bruno ran his socks off. He showed what a Manchester United captain should be doing. I've never seen him doing that, and I think there was a pressure for Bruno to pull up his act and show the fans that for past so many matches, for past so many months, he's been slacking behind in performances. This was his time, and after getting the armband, he needed to be out there and performing. It was a weird lineup, obviously. Ronaldo wasn't there, Maguire wasn't there, but then there was a new pairing, and then there was a confidence given to the Elanga. इसमें बहुत clearly दिख रहा था हम लोगों को कि we have to outsprint the team, we have to out tackle the team, and हमको Old Trafford का confidence चाहिए. How do we get the confidence of Old Trafford? If we start showing up on the pitch, and everyone just went ahead and full blown tackled everyone. Yeah, I saw Malaysia doing two-footed tackles. I saw Dalot doing two-footed tackles, or well-timed tackles. It wasn't haphazard, and those were all well-timed tackles. Everyone outran each other, their opponents from the Liverpool side. And there was a regular progression, seen from the Brighton game to Brentford game, and then coming to this game. In each game, what we saw from Ten Hag was, improving on the previous game, and I saw that improvement from the Brentford game as well. That he has improved it into, यहाँ पे tactical geniusness नहीं लगाई वहाँ पे. It was simple, just outrun and win the ball, win the second balls, and make plays. Right? यहाँ पे कुछ low blocks करने की जरूरत नहीं है. यहाँ पे इन्वर्टेड फुल बैक्स को कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है, पीछे से बिल्डअप करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है जहां हम लोगों ने गोल्स खाए थे, है ना, which I personally hate. I hate playing from the back, and we conceded so many goals from
especially
that,
when you have David De Gea in your team.
exactly, and I think Kushag made a good point that when you have DDG played through his strengths, especially in the game like this, right? In many years, I haven't seen a performance where United has outplayed Liverpool or any big teams like this. The best performance came when they were counter-attacking, which we have seen as one of the identity for decades and decades under, like I said, Sir Alex and Jose and Ole. And one of the things that I actually noticed was United celebrated long balls, right? Whenever they got stuck in opponent's half, है ना, एलांगा के पास बॉल फंस रही है, ब्रूनो के पास बॉल उठा के दे दिया डीजी को and the field spread. So the field spread, and DDG had the time and to kick it out and go back to the playing in the front. It was a typical Manchester United performance, like I said. Bruno was very Bruno was very different. I think he probably won all the second balls, right? Build up कर रहे हैं, forward line का support नहीं है, which we saw in other matches. But इस बार में forward line का बहुत support था. We discussed in our last video how Sancho was so omnipresent. He wasn't there from Maguire to pick up the balls and start making plays. But Sancho this time was there. Sancho was making plays, was dropping back, asking for the ball. At the same time, ये क्या कहते हैं, why I wanted to bring Licha also in this context. Why Licha was so good yesterday was because Darwin Núñez wasn't there, and hence there was no as such thing as throwing the ball to Núñez and disturb Licha. And overall, like I said, Old Trafford started vibing off, and uske baad, obviously we scored so many goals, 2 goals, 2 great goals, and Marshall was critical when he came off, and obviously there was people who were questioning why not Ronaldo. Obviously Ronaldo will feature at some point, but this was a typical Eric Ten Hag team that was ready to counter and fastly counter, and probably Ronaldo didn't feature in there. Last but not the least, we capitalized. जितना अपना strength था उस strength में खेला, हमने उतना chances बनाए, and we won the match. Yeah. Over to you, Sandeep.
Yeah, so Karthik, you mentioned some really good points, but what I would like to say is that we heard some reports right now that Eric Ten Hag, after the last meeting with Brentford, showed the players that they ran 13 kilometers less, and he made them run 13 kilometers more. And what's more, heartening to read reports about is that he ran along with the players, and we haven't had that in a long time. A manager who is a coach, a manager who is on the coaching field, pointing out the nitty-gritties of triangular passing and one-touch passing, and we got that on show at Old Trafford on Monday night. So that was brilliant to see. And what I remember most about that game, there was this passage of play when Malacia was under pressure from Salah, and he composed himself and passed to Martinez, and Martinez put it forward. That was one of the best passage of play I saw. That under pressure, under so much pressure, even if it was Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire, then I would have been really worried. I was worried for Malacia and Martinez too, but I saw their composure level, and that was something so refreshing to see. So the defense was like, we got Rolls Royce Varane, so that was we saw what he did to Diaz. So that was one of the best moments of the game, and also the composure on the finish of Sancho, brilliant. He sent James Milner back to Leeds, Alisson back to Brazil, and Van Dijk was there like a statue. So it was awesome. And Bruno, with the assist, that pointing the goal towards, pointing to Sancho towards the goal. So that was very heartening to see. And Rashford, he could have had 3 goals. And we are talking about Marcus Rashford as he was in 2018-19 when he brought on against Arsenal. So it was, the good old days. But yes, as Mojo sir already said, that we should not get carried away. Because for the first 30 minutes, we played a high line. We played a defensive high line. We kept up the pressure. But after that, the defensive line got pushing backwards. We had a goal under our belt and we had to protect that. I get it. The mentality comes into the play that we have something now to protect. But Liverpool were dominating us, and Ten Hag's philosophy is, to play passes and not give the ball away to the opponent team. So we can take something from this game very positively is the attitude and the the composure of the boys. So the one thing we need to take from this is the confidence level. This is we were playing against a side who presses well, who attack us. Now we are playing Southampton, so they will have a low block, and we will need to create more nifty passes, no more through across the line passes for that to break their low block. So that is very important to see how that works out in the Southampton game. And the only thing we can build on is the confidence. We have to take this confidence, and unless Martinez and Varane are injured or badly out of form, I don't see Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw coming back into the team. And now we have Casemiro, so McTominay, I think, will not be getting his place in the team. Casemiro has to play. Casemiro is one of the world's best, if not the best, defensive midfields. And if we get Frankie de Jong by 31st of August, nothing like it. It would be one of the best midfields of all time.
So thank you so much, Sandeep. We've got everything that we wanted from this game week. We got a response from the players. We got the 3 points in the bag. We got one over our hated rivals. And also we made our voices as fans heard across to the impending discontent that is there around the club. So some really eye-opening insights, some really good facts, and some heart-to-heart talk by the MUSC Red Devils NCR. Thank you for tuning in and watching us. We hope you like, share, and subscribe. We are on YouTube. We are on Instagram with the handle MUSC Red Devils NCR. We keep on having interactive WhatsApp discussions every single day, late until the night. So do join us there, and we hope to see you soon. And we will come again once again with the next episode. Thank you so much for your time, guys, and hope to see you guys soon.